don't jump to conclusions. Don't, if you're having a conflict, don't assume you know what's going on. Make sure you ask the question, you know, what was upsetting you, or what is the problem, and then you can address it. But if you just assume that you know what's happening, you'll end up getting it wrong and you'll never get anywhere with it.
Definitely, because if each of you are not on the same page, you'll both get frustrated and ready for an argument. So if you think before you speak and figure out what exactly is bothering you, and express your feelings, explain what's going on, you'll be able to better understand where each other's coming from.
It's making sure you acknowledge the person's feelings, because that avoids conflict, and then you can solve the problem. And make sure you, like you said, acknowledge their feelings, because if you don't acknowledge your feelings, then the conflict blows up in the air.
So I feel like we need to reflect before we react, type of thing, because it's always best to look at the bigger picture. I think sometimes when you come to the start of a conflict, if you've got your hot head on, you know, sometimes things can just reel off your tongue when you're just jumping straight into the fire, if you like. I think if you sort of take a step back, look at the situation, reflect, if you do that, it does make it a little bit easier. And just going back to what Natalie said, it's about acknowledging that feeling. And I think if you do reflect on that, then it's easier to do so, isn't it? You can acknowledge conflict. Yes, definitely.
And always let the other person have their chance to speak. You need to hear their side of the story and not just yours.
Also, accept there's no such thing as a perfect partner. If you're allowed to have a bad day and be grumpy and take things the wrong way, then so is your other half. So if you're just starting to snip at each other, just accept that they might just be having a bad day as well. And, you know, say that's fine, take a breath, we'll speak, you know, we'll come back to this again. Yeah.
I think for me it's about, a top tip for me would be about don't bottle your feelings up. You know, so, you know, if your partner's done something that's irritated you, don't just sit on it. You know, talk to them about it. You know, because if you bottle things up, if you bottle all them little things up, eventually you're going to explode. And if you want to say something, another tip would be if you know, if you've got something to say to your partner, which might be a bit difficult, is, you know, don't shout and scream it from the other room. You know, wait there's a good moment, and, you know, sit down and talk to them eye to eye, facing each other, because it's so easy to kind of to get a little bit angry and then to scream up the stairs, or, you know, shout them when they're in the middle of doing something else. And, yeah, that's not going to help. Keep it in for a little while and wait for your moment and talk about it then.
And if you're having an argument about a certain thing, stay talking about that certain thing. Now is not the time to bring in the fact that he leaves his socks on the floor and you ate his mum. You know, if you're having a dispute about doing the pots, then just stick to doing the pots, yeah? Stick to one thing at a time and try and resolve that issue first before you get anything else.
I think it's massively important that, you know, you do
You
make
need
that
time
time.
for yourself.
Yeah, and I think you do need to make that time to yourself to be able to deliver 100% and being, you know, the mum, the wife, the partner, whatever it is in the household, even just in yourself, if you know, you're just going solo on your own, it's massively important. Things can go on top of you. You've got work, commitments, being a parent, being a wife, husband, etc. Things can become a little bit more stressful if you've got no energy, if all that energy is going out elsewhere. So it's crucial that we do find that time, and we use the phrase filling our jugs. Because obviously once the jug's at the bottom, there's no energy there. We've got no energy to give out. So it means you're giving out all this love and care, but it's like you're on the edge of it, so you're really snappy, it's coming across groggy because you haven't got that energy there. So finding the time is crucial, to fill your jug, to be able to deliver 100% and performing when it comes to being a worker, a mum, partner. You need to fill your jugs.
You can't help others if you can't help yourself.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
you know, if we're in a relationship and we have a partner and, you know, we committed to them, you kind of also got to be committed to yourself as well. To give yourself some time and
To have that healthy relationship.
to do things for you.
You can't expect someone to love you if you don't love yourself.
You have to be willing to ask for help as well, or ask for the time, or to demand the time to look after yourself and be honest. You need to be able to say, I can't do this right now, I need X, Y and Z. And that level of honesty will stop conflicts from escalating, it will stop things from building up to the point of conflict as well. So just being honest and trying to be as clear and honest as possible, and to ask for what you need, and to be honest about what you need.
We need our jugs filling up.
That's the one. Grab the jug by 2 hands
Yeah.
and fill that jug up. Power to the jugs.
Power to the jugs.